Welcome back to the Big Lad Podcast. In this episode, we're doing a Q&A. I'm answering all your questions. I put a couple of stories up on Instagram, asked for some questions, either anonymous or not. And there's plenty of us to get through. It's been a little bit of a while since I've done one of these, but I guess let's crack on. Here's question 1. What motivates you to work hard? Career, gym, side gigs? For me, it's mainly the fear of not reaching my potential. Like, imagine getting to your deathbed and having regrets of not getting where you potentially could have got to. So that drives me quite a lot. I always joke about undiagnosed ADHD. Everyone that I know, close to me, friends, family, always joke saying I've definitely got a sprinkle of something. And like anyone else, money, like especially in my day job, we don't go to work. Well, some of us go to work to enjoy it. Most of us go there for money. To get money, to go and do things that we enjoy outside of that, whether that be traveling or whatever. So, yeah, that is always going to be a motivation, not just for me, but for pretty much everyone. And if you can enjoy your job along the way, then that's an added bonus. If money was no object and you didn't have to work, how would you fill your time? So, I would essentially fill it with everything that I do outside of work. So things like traveling, podcasting, really enjoy it. I've got this podcast. I've also got a football podcast with my mates, which is really good because it gives me an option to see the lads without having to go to the pub. We can sit and just chat about football, and it just gets us away from everything else. The gym. I'd mainly podcast. I think I really enjoy podcasting. And if money was no object, I would definitely have someone to edit and schedule all my content, because that is the bit that I least like about podcasting, is getting all the content out there. Next question. What's on the top of your bucket list and why? Now, I'm not a material person. However, since I was a kid, I've wanted a Porsche 911. I think I might have spoke about this before. But basically, when I was about 7 or 8 years old, my nan and granddad took me out for the day, and I got a book, and it was all about Porsches, like the history of the Porsche up until, what would it have been, like 2003, 2004. I've still got that book in my desk drawer, and I've wanted one ever since I was a kid. So I'm not, like I say, I'm not a material person, but that is a goal and dream I've had since I was a kid, and hopefully one day we get there. What's your best piece of life advice? So for me, life's too short to worry about what others think of you. If there's something that you want to do, go out and do it. There's never a perfect time or moment to start something, so just start and learn as you go, because you'll pick it up along the way. Like, I was never as good as I am now at speaking to camera. I can go back on my Instagram and look at my archive stories. Some of them took 3, 4, maybe even 5 times to do. It's only by practice and repetition and learning as you go. You get better over time. So don't wait around for that perfect moment. Just go out there and do it and learn on the job, essentially. What makes your soul shine? So, fairly recently it's been getting outdoors, away from all the noise, no phone signal, just going out and enjoying nature. As weird as that and hippie as that might sound, literally just getting out there and just getting some fresh air, getting away from work, all the hustle and bustle, and just having a good time. And, going for a dip in a random lake or river somewhere. That is, I guess, making my soul shine at the moment. And I need to do a bit more of it, because it's only about once a month that I do it. On Ryan's Walks, who's been on the podcast previously. So if you are looking to get out there, get hiking with a group of people, so you don't have to worry about where to go or what to do, Ryan does a monthly community walk that anyone can join on. They're free, don't have to pay, you literally just turn up, enjoy yourself, camp or go home, it's up to you. So yeah, definitely check that out. I'll put a link as well to that episode with Ryan, if you want to go and find out what he's more about. Ooh, next one. Thoughts on the UK at the moment? I have a fairly strong opinion on this. I would say it's not looking very good at the moment. And I'm starting to not see myself in the UK long term. I just think it's genuinely run by a bunch of idiots. And there's always people that are in charge, I think, that you will never see. You'll never know. There's always stuff going higher and above what you see in the government. But yeah, I've actually got another podcast lined up basically on this topic, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. But yeah, I don't think it looks great. Things are just getting worse, and like I say, the country's run by a bunch of idiots. But yeah, keep an eye out for that podcast because it'll be coming up potentially after this one or the one after that. So stay tuned. Join my mailing list as well because you will get access to every episode before it goes live. I'll put a link below in the description. Go sign up. It's completely free. You'll get a link to the podcast that is coming up before anyone else does. What's the biggest realization that helped you in your self-improvement journey? So, I would say that realizing most people out there are just winging it. Whether it's your parents when you were a kid, your teachers, people you work with, managers, celebrities, we're all out here just pretty much winging it. And the more I've been in the corporate world now for the last 11 years, the quicker you realise that everyone's winging it, everyone above you becomes a lot less important and a lot easier to speak to. So, like, we're all people at the end of the day. So, just having a higher job title doesn't make you any better of a person than anyone else. You're still just a person at the end of the day. And I think once you take that barrier away, progress is a lot easier if you're willing to put the work in. So, yeah, I wouldn't look into job titles too much. I wouldn't put people on a pedestal. We are just people at the end of the day. And once you realise that, things become a lot easier. Your favourite kind of food, it's got to be steak, without a doubt. And now, because I've had that many steaks since moving out, I've got to a point where I can cook them pretty much perfect to my liking. And it's kind of stopping me from going out to steak restaurants now because I'm like, I can literally do this myself at home. The only difference maybe is maybe in a restaurant, the meat quality may be a bit better. But yeah, I don't see the point in going out and spending £30-40 on a steak anymore when I can do it myself for whatever, like a fiver, I don't know. What do you want to achieve in the next 5 years? So, Porsche, going back to it, I've set that goal pretty soon because I feel like if you don't have some sort of deadline on it, then it makes it a bit more difficult to achieve, and it also doesn't give you that drive to go and do it by a certain date. It's just, it might happen one day. So yeah, I'm trying to put like a bit of a time barrier on that. I'd like a couple more promotions at work. Like I said, we go to work for money. I don't feel like I'm at my limit in terms of workload, so I might as well push on to the next level, get a pay rise. I've always said when I've been asked the question, where do you see yourself in 5 years, is I'll just keep pushing myself until I get to a point where it starts to affect my work-life balance. I'm really big on that. I won't be the person working till 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night, especially in the future. I would like to have kids, and I don't want to be that dad that is on work calls at 7, 8 o'clock or missing school plays or whatever like that. I want to be there for that. Similar to with the promotions, I sort of, like a good few years ago now, set myself a really ambitious salary figure in my head, which I want to hit by the time I'm 30, which I hit 30 in March next year. So I basically have until the day before my 31st birthday to hit my target, which is essentially 18 months. I'm still a fair bit away, but I'm a lot closer than I was when I originally set the target. So I'm going in the right direction. I'm putting the work in at work, and we'll see where we get to, because even if I don't get there, I'm still going to be in a fairly decent place. Like I said, I'm not material at all. I want my Porsche. That's what I want. That's my aim, and obviously promotions and more money will help me get to that. And it's more just for like financial security more than anything. And setting myself up to hopefully retire early with some smart investments and pension and things like that. I don't want to be working till I'm 67. I have set a goal to retire at 50. Obviously, very ambitious target, especially the way the world's going. It's looking pretty unlikely, but if we have that aim and it comes in at 55, it's still better than 67. What is your bucket list holiday? Big bucket list ones are Australia or Japan. I haven't decided which one I would like to go to first, or whether I'd do them in the same trip because they're over the sort of same side of the world. But yeah, they would be long holidays. Like, it'd probably be a good 2-3 week holiday in Australia and a good probably 10 days at least in Japan. So long holidays, a lot of money, but I would like to tick one of them off fairly soon. So we'll see how that gets on. What mistake turned out to be one of the best things for your growth? I actually struggled a little bit to think of one for this answer, not because I've not made mistakes. We've all made mistakes, and then it's turned out into growth. But I would say the first sort of shock I had was probably my first lot of A-level results in the first year of college. So I kind of coasted through high school in terms of getting good grades. I'd finished my maths GCSE in like the first couple of months of year 10. So like basically 2 years early. Like, I'd boxed off a fair few early doors and put on some like accelerator program in high school. I never really had to revise for that. And then got to college, got my first lot of results, and that gave me a real wake-up call. I couldn't coast anymore. I really needed to step it up, put some work in, and I think that sort of work ethic has then driven on into other things and later life. I will give myself a little bit of leeway in terms of I was rowing at the time and trying to live like a normal 16, 17, 18-year-old. If you've been following me for a while, you'd know that back in high school and college, I was rowing and I was training like 9 times a week. And that was like 8 rowing sessions a week and at least one weighted session. We did also running before the rowing sessions. We also did core after every single session. So if you added all the sessions up in a week, you're probably looking at close to 20 sessions a week across 7 days. So trying to live like a normal teenager as well really did take its toll. And I spoke about this on my story, and I put a reel up the other day, that looking back at it now, could I have probably got more out of less sessions? And I think absolutely. But, hindsight's a great thing. And in terms of the mistake, I would say not putting the work in those first lot of A-level exams, because that really set me back, and I was resitting exams whilst trying to revise for the next lot of exams. So yeah, I think that's helped me in later life, that you can't just coast things forever. It will catch up to you at some point. Do you believe everything happens for a reason, or is life random? I would say it is a bit of a mixture. I don't believe necessarily in luck or anything like that, but I think if you either put the work in and things happen, or you don't. Obviously there's times for like certain circumstances where it's a case of right place, right time. That can happen, and I guess in a way that is luck, but it could also just be random. Sometimes you are, after the thought, lucky that you're in the right place at the right time, but yeah, I don't think it's necessarily something that you can count on. It just happens or it doesn't. You put the work in, things happen. It's been proven time and time again. You look at any millionaire, billionaire, they just did what they do for long enough and it eventually happened. What's the very first thing you usually notice about someone you're attracted to? I'm going to answer this in like general people, like whether I actually like a person or not. So I would say one of the first things is people that look after their health, fitness, have pride in their appearance. Then it'd be things like the softer things like confidence. I like a confident person that is confident in themselves but doesn't tip over into arrogance, because then you can be very disliked very quickly. People that aren't entitled. There is nothing worse than an entitled person that they just deserve something because they exist. It's usually people that think or know that they're attractive will then think they just deserve things because of the way they look. And yeah, I'm not about that. but also then people that can adapt to a situation. So I'm very much, like I said, work hard, play hard, have a laugh when you can, but then be serious and get the work done when you need to. I like someone that can have that balance. People that are just there for a laugh all the time can get irritating when stuff doesn't get done. But it goes the same way for people who are serious all the time and can't have a laugh. Life's there to enjoy. Don't be serious all the time. If you had to choose a theme song that plays every time you enter a room, what would it be? Chesney Hawkes, the one and only. As cringe and cheesy as that is, why not? It would be pretty funny, but I do think it would annoy me in the long run. I can't lie. I really struggled on getting an answer for that one. I was looking through my phone at, like, literally through all my Apple Music. I can't find anything that I'd like. But if you enter in a room, imagine hearing the one and only. I'm not going to sing it out, by the way. What gave you the guts to start your podcast? Really helpful, by the way. Love the content. First of all, thank you very much for the support and listening. Really appreciate it. Anyone, even if this is your first time and you've got this far, thank you very much. Really do appreciate people listening. So basically, at the start of 2022, I was doing a bit of YouTube. I'd been doing some for a while. I had plans to then that year meet up with people that I'd met through Instagram in the fitness space, go and work out, get vlogs done and this, that and the other. Obviously, lockdowns then came. So it'd been close to a year. I thought, what is the way that I can get around this? Because obviously the lockdowns first started, it was only going to be 2 weeks, then it was however long, and then it went, and then came back. So I could never reliably sort out whether I was going to be able to go meet up with people. You obviously had the 2 meter rules and this, that and the other. So I thought, why don't I start a podcast? I can still speak to these people that I've met through Instagram in a different way. Instead of actually physically meeting them, I can have a conversation through the internet. So that's what I did. I started the podcast, really enjoyed it, just speaking to different people from all walks of lives and having just some really interesting conversations. And then I was basically hooked. Don't get me wrong, I have had breaks. This year has been the most consistent I've been with the podcast, and it is the biggest growth I've seen, which just goes back to what I said in one of the previous answers. If you do something for long enough, things happen. So this podcast, yeah, it's not blown up massively, but it has grown way bigger than any other year previous to that. And there's pretty much been an episode almost every single weekend. So I'm really happy with that. If you have got this far, drop a like and subscribe if you're new. Just going to throw that one in. But yeah, I think the podcast as well has helped me with not only speaking to camera, like I said before, I could do an Instagram story maybe 3, 4, 5 times before I got it right. Now I'm pretty decent at it. Don't get me wrong, we still all have hiccups. Even the best YouTubers that you see or may watch still have hiccups when they're speaking to camera. Don't get me wrong, it is one of the most awkward things to do. Look straight down the barrel of a camera and just speak to yourself. It is a skill in itself. But I actually think doing all of this has then helped me in the workplace as well, to just be able to speak to people comfortably, speak to new people, speak to strangers. Yeah. So if doing a podcast is something that you want to do, or just anything in general, like I said before, life's too short. If there's something that you want to go and do, just go and do it. Why not? Stop caring what other people think and do what you want to do. If it makes you happy, go do it. As you've been out of the gym for a while, what's your plan to get back into it? What's the starting point? Do you treat it like a deload period? So, I think it's coming up to 3 months now. I've only just recently got back into the gym a little bit. I've been really burnt out. I've been just doing too much with the podcast, keeping that going. I've been traveling a lot with work recently, so I've been, where have I been? I've been to York, Lincoln, Aberdeen. I went to Sweden a couple of weeks ago with work. There's been multiple trips and it doesn't half take it out of you. And then when you come back from those trips and you're still tired, I've been trying to listen to my body a bit. Instead of trying to push through it and burning out even further and going to the gym, I've just, been resting a bit, and I'm ready to get back into the gym because it's really affecting my mood and things like that. So with that being said, my plan is literally to go back to basics. I've been in the gym for the past 14 years. So yeah, I'm literally going back to basics. Nothing weird, nothing wonderful. Really simple workouts. No pressure on what I'm lifting. In a sense, it is a deload. I'm lifting lighter than I was previously. I've not actually lost that much strength, but just to manage the fatigue and recovery, I'm lifting less, focusing a lot more on form, time under tension, getting more out of a lesser weight. So instead of just trying to sling up as much weight as I possibly can, I'm dropping the weight down, but then I'm slowing the workout down as well. I'm getting everything out of every weight, regardless of how heavy it is. So yeah, once I'm back properly into routine, I will then potentially look at putting a proper plan into it. At the moment, I've got like a rough plan of what muscles I want to hit when I go to the gym, but it is just whatever exercise I feel like on the day. And then I've also actually started running again. Don't know why. Don't ask me why. I have no idea, but I'm doing it. And yeah, can't wait to get fit again, to be honest. I'm trying to do 2 to 3 5Ks a week. I'm currently around 106 kilos, which is a little bit lighter than my winter weight. Let's just say that. And I can feel it when I'm running. That being said, I did get a 26 something 5K the other day. On the second one back, so I'm pretty happy with that. Sub 25 is not that far away, and we'll just see how far we can push that. Who knows, I might enter another run at some point. My mate's trying to get me to do one, but he's very deep into a marathon prep because he's doing one in like 2 months. Tried to get me to go on a 34k run the other day. Absolutely no chance. So yeah, like I say, the plan with the gym, just get back to basics, get into a routine. There is no point in trying to push and aim for something like I was going to do. I was trying to train for the British Indoor Championships in December. There is no point in me training for that when I'm burnt out and I've not got the basic routine in place. It's just not going to happen. So my plan is to get back into the routine, and then we'll potentially look at entering something. But this year, I think the Indoor Championships is probably off the cards, which is unfortunate because I was really looking forward to doing that again after not being able to do it last year because of my knee. But we'll see. Yeah, I just don't need the added stress or pressure of entering a competition when I've not got the basics in place. Are you still doing cold water plunges, and what benefits did you notice? I'll be honest, no, not really. Mainly because I've not got like a cooling unit on my ice bath, and putting ice into the top of the bath during summer does next to nothing. It just cools the top layer of the water down. The water is currently around 20 to 25 degrees. I did go in it the other day just because I was absolutely roasting. I just sat there for about half an hour having a beer in it, and it was pretty nice actually after a while. But with the ice baths, I actually enjoy being cold. I would prefer to be cold than be hot. I'm not sure on the benefits as such, but you do feel a lot more alert and focused after an ice bath. That's probably the only difference I've noticed. Obviously, I've not looked into maybe what it's doing to my blood or my internal organs or whatever. I haven't had tests or anything to sort of show that. So if you want to do them, do them. But at the moment, it's pretty pointless because the water is nowhere near cold enough. But like I say, it was nice to have a little beer in there the other night. What's your future plans for rowing competitions? So, like I said, indoor championships probably not on the cards this year. The main issue with the sprint rowing is you essentially need to become a power lifter that can row flat out for like 60 to 90 seconds. The problem I have is my knee limits how much I can leg press, squat, etc. Any leg movements. I'm not necessarily limited. I can still do a fair amount of weight, just not enough to get me to the point of strength I need to be competing with the sort of top two fellas in the sprint rowing world. Like, don't get me wrong, when I did enter it in 2023, I trained for like 8 weeks and came 10th in the country. So it's decent, but then for me to go from like 10th to first or second, we are talking a massive difference. So the issue with, it's not an issue, it's just science. The way sprint rowing works, for you to go slightly quicker, the amount of power you need is exponential. So if you want to go, say, 10 seconds quicker, you're looking at a massive difference in power output. And then every second after that gets an even bigger jump. So, yeah, it may not sound like a lot of difference time-wise, but power-wise, it's huge. The amount of power you needed to go a second quicker every single time is massive, and it only gets bigger as it goes on. Like I said, there's not really a chance of me catching those top two. They're both taller than me. Like, I'm 6'4" myself. These guys are 6'7" and 6'9". One is like a world champion or national champion sailor or something like that, and also holds the world record for the 500 meters. The other guy is Chris Scott, who's actually been on the podcast as well. He was a European champion discus thrower. Absolute unit of a man. Really impressive times that he puts out. And yeah, like I say, they're both probably a good 15 kilos of muscle heavier than me too. So I'm not making excuses. It's just the facts at the end of the day. You do have mechanical limits at some point, and obviously my knee is going to be holding me back a little bit with that. To be able to compete with those guys, I'm pretty sure Chris squats like 300 kilos for a double or a treble or something stupid. So yeah, there's a disadvantage there. It is what it is, but I do enjoy it, so I may just do it anyway, out of enjoyment and something to train for once I'm back in the routine. How would you rate the following, George? Mentally, physically, sleep, and nutrition. Mentally, 7 out of 10. Like, it's not great, but it's not bad. Like, I'm just not even, well, I guess average is 5, isn't it? I'm above average mentally. Yeah, it could be better, like anything. Physically, I'm going to put myself at a 5. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not like out of shape, but for me, I feel out of shape. Not been in the routine of going to the gym. I've said routine a lot. Yeah, I would say a 5. I could be a lot fitter and in a better position, and that's what we're going to aim for. Getting that 5 closer to a 10. Sleep, I'm going to also say a 5. That's not helped by the weather at all. I am not a great sleeper anyway, but when it is hot, it makes it even worse, because I naturally run pretty hot anyway. I'm like a radiator, and like I said before, I would rather be cold than hot, and yeah, it's just not doing it for me at the moment. Even like last week, I actually had really good sleep and I was still tired and really can't figure out why. But yeah, hopefully a little bit of cooler weather comes in soon and we can sort of sleep out. Nutrition, I'm going to say a 7 out of 10. Like, generally, I eat pretty clean. It's literally if I go out on a weekend. If I don't go on a weekend, I don't drink. I only ever drink when I go out. I don't drink in the house, to be honest, unless it's an occasion, whether I'm celebrating something or whether I've got the lads around to watch like the boxing or something late at night. I might have a couple. But generally, yeah, I eat pretty decent. What's your favourite go-to shower song to sing? This completely depends on my mood. Like, I have such a varied music taste, it is mental. But it literally could be anything from like Creed, Nickelback, Phil Collins, 80s music, or country. Like, they're my general probably go-tos. It literally could be anything. You could shuffle my phone on the Apple Music and literally 5 songs in a row would be a completely different genre. So yeah, I don't really have a go-to. It completely depends on my mood. What's one thing you've always wanted to learn? I would say a foreign language. Like, school was pretty poor at teaching you foreign languages. It was just a memory test. There was nothing really of any use in that. Duolingo, I've tried a couple of times. I was pretty consistent with it at one point, but I just found myself saying random stuff. Like, I was trying to learn German, and I literally I could tell you that the owl is smart. Like, when am I ever going to say that to anyone? So yeah, Duolingo isn't great. And also, I just haven't really had the time to commit to learning a foreign language on top of everything I do. But it is something that I've always wanted to do. Who knows? Might learn it in later life. Favorite type of film? I would say comedy, because who doesn't enjoy having a laugh? And then also I would say thriller or horror, mainly again because I find them hilarious. Like, the amount of films I've been to see and I've just sat there laughing because they're so predictable and obvious. So yeah, comedy, thriller, horror, or a mix. What's your thoughts on people taking gear to compete in open doubles at High Rocks? Didn't know this was happening, but I guess it happens in every... Can you call High Rocks a sport? I don't know if it is classed as a sport. But yeah, it happens in pretty much every sport, so it doesn't surprise me that people do. I would say, in my opinion, it's pretty sad. It's a competition with a low barrier to entry that's aimed at getting the general population involved in competing and having something to aim for. Not only that, it's a competition that you have to pay to enter with no prize money at the end, unless you go to like a pro event, I think, and win it. Or like the world champion, I don't know. And all you get at the end is a little sticker to put on your £150 like military bag after being in the trenches for a HIIT workout. But you know, each their own, their body they're messing up at the end of the day. And to be honest, I couldn't care less. Whatever. Is the row machine supposed to activate your glutes and quads? Pretty sure you should be targeting your back. Unsure which row machine you're referring to, but if you have got this far and you're listening, drop me a DM, and we can take a look and see how you're setting up and potentially why your glutes and quads are being activated in a back movement. Final one. Have you ever got stuck in a cutting phase? If so, what got you out of it? So, luckily, due to my size, I can still have quite a lot of calories and still drop weight with a little bit of extra cardio or steps. So I've never really been in like a really strict cutting phase, mainly because I don't see the point. What am I going to get out of it? I'm never going to step on stage. I'm never going to do a photo shoot because I just wouldn't be fulfilled doing so. So for the sake of some photos on Instagram and some likes, I don't see the point in restricting my life, not being able to go out and enjoy myself with the lads on a weekend and have a couple of beers, or go for some food and have to worry about how many calories are in it. Life's all about enjoyment, and for me, enjoyment is not like dieting down so strictly and getting to such a lean body fat percentage, getting me kit off and getting some fake tan on for some photos. I just don't see the point. If that is what you want to do, fair enough, go for it. But for me, I'm really not that fussed at all on doing anything like that. So probably not the best person to ask about this because, like I say, due to my size, I can still have quite a lot of calories, and if I am going to go out for drinks or a meal on a weekend, I will just calorie bank and still have a decent amount of calories throughout the week and still enjoy myself in a weekend without major consequences to that. So yeah, for me, life's all about balance. I've said it a few times, work hard, play hard. So yeah, probably not the best person to ask on this one. Maybe ask a coach or someone who has been through a photo shoot prep or something like that. Someone who has had to be a bit more strict than I like to be. But yeah, if you're struggling, speak to someone that has had the experience of doing it themselves and how they've worked around it. I'm probably not like the right person, like I said. That is all of the questions. I hope you've enjoyed this one. If you have, drop it a like. If you're new, subscribe. There's plenty more topics coming up. I've already planned out probably the next 5 episodes. Like I said, if you would like to receive access to the podcast before it goes live to the public for free, sign up to the mailing list below. And usually I will film on like maybe a Monday or a Tuesday. You will have the episode at latest by Wednesday for an episode that goes out on the Sunday. You'll find out what the episode's all about. You'll have a link to go and watch or listen before anyone else does. And like I say, it's completely free. So go check it out. If you would like to read versions of the episodes, I now post them on Substack. So it's like an article version. It's a lot better than things like Twitter or a Facebook post. It splits it out really nicely. I've actually myself been reading a lot of stuff on there. I don't like reading books because I feel like there's too much commitment to doing it. And then I feel like if I've not read for a couple of days, I feel like I have to go back and remind myself what I've read before, and it just takes way longer than it needs to actually read a book. Whereas these are anywhere from like 2 minutes to maybe 10 to 15 minutes, depending on the topic and the people that you follow on there. I found it a really good way as well to get myself off social media a little bit and read. If I'm going to be on my phone, read instead. I think some people also record a version of it so you can listen and read at the same time, like an audiobook sort of style. Find it a really good app. Again, it's free, so go check it out. If you want to know the people that I follow, drop me a message and I can send you some articles because I've done it with a few people and they've said it's been really useful. So, yeah, like I said, if you got this far and you enjoyed it, drop her a like. If you're new, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.